Welcome to the Kop TV, the voice of football's most famous stand.
Yes, good morning. Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the Kop TV, the voice of football's most famous stand. I'm sorry, been away for a while, been working, myself and Jay, hands up. But we're back. Guess what?
How dare you take a break off YouTube?
I know.
How dare you take a break off YouTube? Only knobheads take break off YouTube.
Hey, listen, I'm not commenting on that one. But yeah, listen, it's great to be back. Me and James were smiling. It's a Friday. The vibes are up. And we're looking forward to a great episode.
What is not to be smiling about today? We've got the best manager in the Wales. We've got the best fans in the Wales. We've got the best YouTube channel on the platform. Yeah. I'm not being funny or nothing. We've got a lot to be happy about. And more importantly, we've got each other.
And that's what it all comes down to. We've got each other. We've got each other's backs. And listen, we got each other some great content next season as well in the studio. Yeah. We are going to be having a studio in the next couple of weeks. So, guys, this could be, I know it sounds mad, this could be the last online Hot Kopics before we're in that studio. Who knows? Who knows? Big up to the firm already in the chat. Ali A, as he always is.
Yes, Ali.
James and AGT. Fabio Friday, they're calling it, James.
Fabio
Carvalho is officially announced today, from what we're hearing.
Oh,
July the 1st.
It took that long.
July the 1st, didn't it?
First. Good point. Actually,
contract starts. Yeah, man.
Has he been given a number?
No, I don't think there's been a number yet. But who knows? We could see an announcement in the next couple of hours of him holding up the number 10. It's free. It's there. It's available.
Wait there. Has someone got this number? I don't know. Has anyone got the number 19?
Sadio's first number. I remember Clavan had it after Sadio.
Clavan's not there.
Yeah, he's definitely gone. 19. I think it's free, bro. Unless I'm massively mistaken. Like, let us know in the comments.
Nah, I do think it's free. I wouldn't mind giving him the 19.
That's a shout, you know.
Sadio Mane first number. New member of the attack. Mane's now gone. I don't know. Just it's actually bullshit, but why not?
18's there. Minamino's gone. 18 there or 19.
I think 19 means more.
Bit more of a creative number.
Yeah, a bit more creative number. Still got the 9. It's got the 1 for the 10. I don't know. There's something nice about 19. I don't know. I don't mind that.
No, I hear you. And I think as well, the 19 number, it's kind of reserved for a creative player, maybe a winger. Ali A saying Harvey here will take the 19 and Fabio the 18.
I'm all right with that.
That could happen.
Of them, whatever. Tomato. I do not give two shiny shites. But do you know what it is? I want to start off the show with it. It was like a sort of debate question that I'll let you know about before the show. I haven't gone into the specifics yet, but chat, let me know what you think as well. Want to clarify? None of this is my opinion. This is purely opinion of a friend that I've got called Harry, and he's a mank. Right, so Harry the Mank, yeah. And Harry the Mank, and we were having a conversation, and he basically suggested to me. By the way, I want to give you an insight on the type of person that he is, so you can take this in whatever context you want to take it in. Right? He's a United fan, and I mean one of the most honest and brutal United fans I've ever met. He loves United, but he doesn't love this team, like this United team that they've got. He doesn't rate any of the players because none of them are to the standard that he feels that he's used to at United. So that's the type of fan that he is. And I very rarely hear him say deluded things. Like, he doesn't talk shit about Liverpool, for instance. Okay. He says, we play good football, our manager's great, our players are great. He's a very open and honest fan. Let's just say that. What he said to me is that what I have noticed with Liverpool fans, bear in mind he lives in Liverpool, so he's around Scousers. He was suggesting that we're now getting to a point where obviously we've brought in Darwin Núñez, and this is how the conversation stems. We were talking about Darwin Núñez. I gave him the same opinion that I've been giving everyone on these platforms, that obviously there's a chance he can do well, there's a chance he can score goals, but I can't say he's definitely going to get 30 goals next season. And he said to me, well, if that's the case and Darwin Núñez doesn't make you better, is that Liverpool fans now accepting just competing? Because now Jurgen Klopp has been in the job since 2015, right? He has obviously won everything. and you don't want to put an overemphasis on winning everything more than once. But you
Yeah.
would like to think we would have another league title in this point. And the further point he made is that obviously it's great that you got 97 points. It's great that you got 99 points. But do you think Sir Alex Ferguson will get 97 points, finish second, and be sound with that because he got 97 points? No, he got the next season and put a massive emphasis on being able to bring in the players that he feels is necessary to take us to the next step. If the signings we've made doesn't take us to that next step and we don't further improve in this transfer window, is that Liverpool accepting just competing instead of going one further? So the question really is us Liverpool fans happy because we love Jurgen Klopp, the vibe's brilliant, we win the odd trophy here and there, which wouldn't be bad because where we came from for the 25 years previous to Klopp, near enough, we weren't that great. We're winning trophies once every 5 years or once every 3 years. Whereas now, on average, we're getting one at least a season. Slightly more, maybe. The point is that, are we getting to a point where we're all right if City win the league? As long as we do well in the season, they're all right to win the league because they spend more than us. Or is Klopp being a bit too easy and just happy with the squad that he's got, and therefore that's a detriment to us maybe being able to go that one step further? Because Sir Alex would just buy players. Pep Guardiola would just buy players. Is Jurgen saying I'm happy with a small squad, or is FSG saying we're not giving you the money? I just thought it was a good question. Very broad, very massive, but
it's a
good
big
point.
topic. It's a hot topic, actually.
It's a hot topic.
It's the hottest one. I
Bear in mind the type of person he is. This isn't like some clueless United fan who's trying to make us salty. It's an honest view.
No, listen, I think my favourite type of Everton fans, Man United fans are the pessimistic ones, to be honest. The ones that hate their own team, so they don't really have a lot of hate for us. They're all good. Like, Jack the cameraman, he's a pessimistic Everton fan, which is great for me because I don't have to slag him off. He does it himself. So I like it. So I like speaking to these fans, right? You make a good point about how we keep trying our best and we keep finishing second. I don't think it's necessarily our fault. I mean, you just look at City and unfortunately for us, they just keep getting better as we do as well, which kind of makes the 1 point even more difficult to take. The fact that we've missed out on a point now to them like 2 or 3 times. We're this close. I don't think Klopp says, right, if I add these players, that will get us 2 points, which if we, on average, take what our point tally is, that should win us the league. All he's trying to do is improve the team how he sees necessary. And if that is going to take us to win the league, then it's a success. I guess if it doesn't take us to win the league, is that not a success? I don't think so, personally. I don't think you can look at it in black and white like that. Ali makes a good point here, but James, we were against an oil-rich City side, and we're not even, and we are not City, and we still compete. Compete.
Absolutely. Right, we're never going to be able to spend the funds, nor the weekly wages that Manchester City get to spend. But what have we shown? We have shown a proven, sustainable model, and not just us. Jurgen Klopp has shown this at Dortmund before, where he can build a team on a minimal budget and do really, really well. Now, imagine, Alex, if you give a man like that a slightly more than minimal budget, a slightly more. Or imagine if that man who builds those minimal budget squads, imagine if he says to the board, I want such and such and such, it's going to cost you this much. It's not going to be breaking the bank, but that's what I feel is necessary to improve the team. And with what I've done for you, I feel like I deserve that. Obviously in a less conceited way, because Klopp isn't really like that type of person. But is it one or the other? What way does it lean? And if Jurgen Klopp is the man to say, I want a smaller squad, is that holding us back a little bit? Because he's proven he can get 92 on a minimal budget. On a sell to buy. Just saying. Again,
question,
devil's
man.
avocado. This is me saying Klopp out or anything like that. I swear to God, this is literally just a debate because we're not going to get a better manager than Jurgen.
Do you think it would suit Klopp to spend 200 mil a summer like Pep does? Do you think? Well, he's actually better off having a limited budget because he expands it to what it's capable of, to its maximum? Or do you think should he be that guy that goes, right, 70 on you, 50 on you, 50 on you? I don't think he would suit that type of buying pattern, you know?
Well, it's funny you say that. If I said to you, out of, you know, the Jurgen Klopp and Pep Guardiola debates, right? And everyone says, well, Pep Guardiola couldn't come into Liverpool and do what Jurgen's done. But Jurgen could manage that City team and win trophies with them every season. And you've probably said that before yourself.
Yeah, probably said it. Yeah. Hands up.
If we apply that same logic right now, don't call me a lawyer. I'm just bringing up statements that mean I'm putting us both in jail. You're all right, son. Don't worry.
Yeah.
If we've said that before, then that actually means he should be able to handle a big squad, in our opinion.
Yeah.
Right?
By that logic, yeah.
So therefore, if you use that logic, that same logic,
that logic,
and apply it to the argument, that means he can actually handle a bigger squad, which means he could go out and force FSG, to buy a few more players.
Yeah, I mean, is he knocking on the door? No, listen, it's good. It's good. We need that on the show, a bit of balance. But if he says to FSG, right, I want Jude Bellingham, he's going to cost 120 mil, but that's all I want. After that, honestly, I'm good. I won't even come back to you and ask you for any more dough until this time next year. What are they saying when he says that? Because let's look at, I mean, let me assume as well, by the way, that every single one of us...
financial targets, bro. They're financial targets. That's what they're talking about.
Let me assume that everyone in the chat, you and I, if we could all buy one player, it would be Jude Bellingham. Let me just assume that. Let me also assume that he costs 120 mil to buy now. Maybe next year it could be 200 mil. But let's say he's 120 mil. Klopp goes to them and says, look, he's the one I want. You know, he's probably going to be double this next year. Can you afford it? Can you give me the money to go? What are they saying to him there?
I think FSG are talking about financial targets. I think they're talking about that. We've got financial targets as a club to hit. We need you to spend a specific way for that. But and this is why I have to mention that it's not my point, because I believe FSG are saying to Klopp, we can only spend this much. And I think Jurgen Klopp is being a very honorary man and saying, go on, I'm going to maximise what you're giving me. I love this club. I love being here. I love the position we're in. I love the fact we're competing. If that's the budget you're going to give me, I'm going to do the most that I can. If that takes me to a league title, then it takes me to a league title. If that takes me to a Champions League, then brilliant. If it takes me to both, even better. However, I'm not going to go and knocking on your door asking for 100 million, because I feel like I can still do a job with the budget that you're giving me. And listen, Jurgen Klopp can align with what all we want. We want to be winning quadruples every season like every other club does. Because no one goes into a competition to finish second. They don't. And that's coming from a fan who supports a team who finished in 2 finals last season. In the Prem and the Champions League, pretty much. So, I think Jurgen isn't getting the spending power. And he isn't making a big deal. Not because he's not asked, but because he's an honorary man. An honorary man, I can't say the word perfectly.
And he just wants to work with what he's got.
He just wants to work with what he's got. He's happy to maximise the situation that he's dealt with. No smoke and mirrors. He understands it's FSG's money. They're businessmen. That's the world that we're in right now in terms of football. That's what managers work for. That's what players work for. They play to make the owners more money. And that's a fact. Otherwise, the owners aren't doing their job, are they, if they're not making more money? So, Jurgen's just very much saying, I'm happy with the circumstances. That's what I believe. I don't think it's like a horrible thing where Jurgen's going, give me this player, and FSG saying no. I think FSG give Jurgen a certain budget. So let's say, right, you've got this much to spend on a transfer budget, and you can also sell a certain percentage. You can buy a certain percentage of whatever you sell. That's what I believe. Because a lot of clubs do it that way as well. So,
no, I think it's a very interesting point, all stemming back from that question that you asked, and it all unravels quite nicely. Jack saying, wow, what a question. I don't think it's true. Klopp has always brought in surprising players, either at Dortmund, I think he knows what he's doing, and he'll be desperate to win another league.
But at Dortmund, again, do you know what I'm going to say with that, Jack? And thank you very much for the comments. And by the way, everyone who comments on the live show and also the comments after the show, even if you are commenting on the live show, if you leave comments after the show, it helps the show out more than you think, and also liking the video. So if you haven't done that, please do that, guys. We're getting in the studio next week in Old Score. On that point, Dortmund never really spent money when Klopp was there. So again, probably a very similar thing. We're Dortmund. We've got a certain amount of money to spend. We're competing with teams who are spending hundreds and hundreds of millions, or probably 50s of millions at that time. We can only give you this much. We can give you a percentage of whatever you sell.
Yeah.
That's what you can use for your transfer budget. However, we know we believe you're the man who can cater to our needs and what we can achieve. Jurgen Klopp then goes, absolutely fine. I love Dortmund. I want the best for Dortmund. If that's all you can do, custody. He's not going to complain. He's not going to argue. He's not going to make excuses, even though a lot of neutrals seem to think he makes a lot of excuses. He's never once mentioned about the finances that we spend in comparison to other teams. So, in my opinion, he's just happy to work with what he's got. And I think that was the same at Dortmund.
Yeah. Listen, it's a very good point. A lot of comments coming in. Klopp and FSG would be great if FFP was a real thing. There you go. That's an interesting, controversial shout. I think FSG will sanction a big signing if Klopp wants it, James.
Okay, then, but why don't we
players?
see more big signings? Why don't we see... Yeah, literally, it's mad the way that was the following comment. Where did the play... When is the next
I think that's
sign?
a little bit impatient, though. I think we've literally just bought a massive player.
No.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying you.
Relax
yourself. I'm saying this comment.
No,
Where are the players? Like, you've just seen the players that we've signed, no?
But it's still But who else are we linked with, and who else are we going to bring in this summer?
If it's Jude Bellingham for the next 2 windows, him alone.
We're not going to get Jude Bellingham this summer.
But why? Why are we not getting him this summer, considering he'll be double the value
because
next
he's coming
year?
next summer.
What, for 180 mil instead of 110 mil or something? There's
FSG,
no way we
but
pay
he's not
180 mil.
So you think we're signing him this summer?
No, I want us to, but I don't think we will. No.
But we're not going to. So
I want us to, though.
Like, even just the mentality of Jude Bellingham, just him for the next 2 seasons, that's mad to me. Just one player for the next 2 seasons.
We're pretty much set up for in every other position for the next
players
2 or 3
are going to leave, bro. Players are going to leave. Like,
and then you have to react to that.
If Curtis has another season, but you've just said Jude Bellingham for the next 2 seasons. So you mean with the squad right now?
If we've got the squad right now and you just add Jude Bellingham, I would say we'd be good for the next 2 windows.
Because if Jude comes in, that's another season where Curtis isn't going to be playing footy, which means he's probably going to leave next season. So, I hear what you're saying. I don't agree with that.
I just want him specifically that bad.
I want you getting Job as well. Get
him in as well.
Both of the fuckers. Oh, lad, get both of them in.
Are we better off getting Job?
Well, if Jude Bellingham fucks off to Real Madrid, just get Job. We'll be custody. And then eventually we'll say, Job's killing it.
Yeah.
Come and join Job. You know what I mean?
Play in the middle with him. Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
No, I think.
And then at that point,
Calvin
Ramsey will be playing right back, and Trent will be in midfield. Want to come and play with Job and Trent in midfield? Go ahead, sounds.
Yeah. No, listen. In the comments, I need to see answers like this one. Captain Sal, top knot. Bellingham isn't the be-all and end-all. There are others equally as good. Not Jude, too pricey. Big up James and Alex as Dollarhide. What do you think is, as rumoured, our summer business incomings is done, underwhelmed or satisfied? That's one of the things in the comments that we've said. Ins and outs still needed. The ins for me, obviously, a midfielder. Is there any more outs that you would like to see?
Outs? Ooh, any specifics? Not really. I always think it's positive to keep just a nice chunky squad. Do you know, like if you have a little bit of a chunky baby, you call that like a healthy, happy baby. I want us to have a nice chunky squad. Yeah. That's all I'm asking for. I'm not asking for Man City's or Chelsea where they can loan out 20 players who 10 of them will get in the first team. I'm just asking for a nice chunky baby.
And that means that the Ox stays for you. That means that Curtis Jones stays.
Yeah, I'm all right. But if we bring in no one else, if we don't bring in another midfield, then I'm happy for Ox to stay. If we don't bring in another forward, I'm happy for everyone to stay because we've got barely any forwards now. we went from having 7 amazing options to like 4. To be fair, Harvey and Fabio Carvalho can now be included in that though. Kick Nico out. You thought he's saying that like he's shit. It's a bit harsh. I've got another question. I told you I was going to.
I've got a question for you after.
Okay, do you want to ask yours first, and I'll ask mine after?
What do you think about the signing of Richarlison from Everton to Tottenham for 60 million, by the way?
16?
60.
Oh,
or 50, 10 million add-ons. Everton fans that I've spoken to this morning, mate, they're gutted. And I wanted to get your opinion on it. How do Liverpool fans react?
They'll be all right. Don't worry about Everton fans. They'll be all right.
I'm definitely not worried at all.
No, hang on. Don't worry about it because they'll be talking about how much of a diving bastard he is in 2 weeks. So don't worry about that one. But either way, Richarlison to Tottenham sounds really good. Actually, I think Richarlison, yeah, definitely. Because
am I the only one that thinks Richarlison is not that good? Like, I must be.
I think you're not the only one. I think your opinion of Richarlison is overshadowed by, am I okay to say hatred that you have for him? Am I okay to say that?
No,
hatred, dislike,
100%.
You know what I mean? Disintrigue, yeah.
Big hatred.
I think big hatred. I love the emphasis. The emphasis of big hatred means that you really don't like the player, which means when hatred's also emotion, and if you're emotional about someone, that also means it can overcloud an opinion. I don't think he's terrible. And I also wouldn't put him in the category of not good. Fabio Carvalho is not good. David Ngog, not really good. Richarlison, good. Like, not really good. Not very good. Not world class. Good. And he's inconsistent, but he's inconsistent in an Everton team that has been absolutely dog wank ever since he joined. So I'm not going to say he's going to go to Spurs and do a Harry Kane or do a Human Son or whatever, or even get in the starting three. Because Kulusevski's been brilliant as well. But does he add to that squad? That's now the question I want to present to you in the chat. And I am not as big as fan either. Do you like the way everyone looks at Robertson? That's how we look at Richarlison. I don't think it makes their squad worse. I think it gets them an extra few goals. I think it's an extra powerhouse to bring off the bench. If you're spending 50 million on someone who's just to come off the bench, it's not great, but it's still a method to win because you need a squad to win trophies. And now, are Spurs giving themselves the best possible chance, bringing in players like Richarlison? I'm sorry, Alex. I think the only answer that you can come up with here, my mate, is yes.
I think you've cornered me into saying yes. It's not necessarily him, yeah.
I love this game. I love this game.
All right, let me just round and sum this up, right? One, these are just points that I'm going to put together and then we can mash them all up. One, I don't think he's that good at football. Two, the way that Everton fans have put him on some pedestal, right? Only for him at the first opportunity to leave.
But you know what Everton fans are like? No, in comparison to what they're comparing him to, he's shit, but that's Everton fans. You can't value that excessively.
But I hope, and I mean, I spoke to an Everton fan this morning. I wanted to read this out because I wanted to kind of ask you this question, right? An Everton fan that I know shared this story of the club announcement saying he'd left. And I said, thoughts on this?
Yeah, they're talking about like Leighton Baines has just gone, aren't they? That's the way they've reacted.
Literally. So I said, thoughts on this as an Everton fan? Because again, all I've heard from Everton fans for the last year, 2 years, is how good this Richarlison is, how loyal he is to the club, how great he is in a blue shirt, how he's rattled Liverpool fans with so many memes. Like I've heard it all from Everton fans. So I wanted to get their thoughts on how they felt about him leaving, right? So Everton fan, big one, season ticket holder, goes fuming. No one but himself wanted to leave. He's ratted out the fans and he left knowing that we're in a bad position now. So I said, the way that he's been put on this pedestal after being popular for a few pigeon dances, and let's not forget, he only scored 11 goals last season. It's not hardly like he's saved them from the jaws of relegation. Yeah, but it's not amazing for a striker. That isn't turning over heads. That's not setting the world on fire, I don't think. So my question is, are Everton fans going to have the same energy about him now he's left? You mentioned it just a minute ago. 2 weeks into the season, they're going to call him a diver. Are they going to have the same energy now that he was their hero, their guy in blue? He's just left you at the first opportunity he could get, mate. So I want to see the same Everton energy now that he's left than he was there. I want to see that, man.
Get that on TikTok, Owen lad. Get that on TikTok. If the Blues didn't hate you before, Alex, they'll fucking hate you now. No,
maybe,
you know
yeah. But
no,
listen,
I don't think you've made
I don't
many
think
bad
he's that
points.
good, and I don't think the Everton
Alex,
fans should hate him now. That's what my point is.
Hear me out, my G.
Go on, bro.
I don't think you've made a single bad point. Don't think you've made a single bad point. I think the way you've executed the argument was brilliant. I think it was eloquent. And furthermore, I think you had a strong case when you said about Everton fans probably not going to be liking Richarlison anytime soon. The same Everton fans who was, DNA was better than Robertson. Richarlison's better than Bobby. I swear when Alisson made a couple of mistakes, they were trying to bring Jordan Pickford into the conversation. Michael Keane's better than fucking Van Dijk. But
Godfrey's better than
Godfrey. I've heard Godfrey was better than Gomez. I've actually heard Godfrey was better than Gomez, and then I've also heard that Anthony Gordon's better than Harvey Elliott. And
Sigurdsson. Again, actually, no, sorry. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. What I'll say is that. It's weird when you bring up that name now, isn't it?
I know. No one said it for a while. And I won't mention anything else, but that name alone is funny. I've said it.
He used to play for Reading, and I saw a Reading page, and I clicked on it, and it was like, there was a report from unreliable journalist that Sigurdsson could return to Reading. And then underneath it was a fan page. Get on this. Underneath it, like a space, and then another space down. He goes, even though he is a nonce, would you take him back? Question mark.
If that's one of your questions, then wow.
No, it weren't even that. It was like, I know he's a nonce, but it would be quality if we could get him back. That's what it was. And I was like, that is funny. That these clubs in the Championship and League One will take anything. Sunderland's mate, Adam Johnson. Come back, lads. Come on, we'll sort you out. Get out to Jug. Come and play
Jimmy
for us.
Savile, fancy a game.
Oh, mate, Sunderland's in League One. I'd be buzzing with Adam Johnson right now. No, that's mad. Everton fans, it's a confusing one for them. God knows what the state of their club's in. God knows if they're going to be able to spend. But let's stop talking about Everton and Richarlison.
You say that, but I do think we should share the screen on some of the replies of the Twitter post to say that he's left. I do think
no one cares.
Well, I care.
No one cares. I don't care. I don't want to talk about Everton fans' replies.
Bro. The season's not even started for a long time. We're going to talk about pre-season.
To read emotional crying messages from
because
Evertonians.
They do it to us, bro.
It doesn't matter.
Recently,
my God, Alex, they're so irrelevant as a football club. You don't need to talk about them.
I know they are, bro. But I just I do think it would be funny to just look at a few, considering how big they had him on a pedestal. Yeah. Especially when he was making all these memes about Liverpool, right? So it's bitter. And listen, I was in the pub in Liverpool recently. That ped off Toffee TV goes, "Hey, you! I'm seeing you talking shit about us on Sky Sports League." So I want to see what they're saying right here. Richarlison has completed his fee, his move to Tottenham, calling him Richie and all that, right? Sadly, this is modern life. Spurs are currently a bigger and better team. See, that's a brilliant meme. To be fair, that seagull one there, even though he is obviously a pigeon, or he says so.
I was going to say, got it a bit wrong.
He's fell on the floor and started rolling around in his medical. You're probably best running the club in a way that we don't have to sell our best player to avoid sanctions in the Premier League in the future. Just an idea. Interesting. We all miss you, legend. Commitment. The man left Everton to sit on a bench at a smaller club because they're Champions League. And then you've got the Liverpool fans piping up. Richarlison was great for us, always respected the club, always gave 100%, was great in the final third. I think I must have bowled you, you slag him up with the lads having a belt of time. Crying. So listen, it's interesting, getting the replies, and we'll leave that there now,
Yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. You've lost your legend. Heavy stuff. Yeah. I was going to ask before, like, because I was just thinking about like a few of our nostalgic players and whatnot, and I was just wondering, is there anyone who used to play for us that still plays now that you would take in our team? Just as a hypothetical.
Emre Can?
Would you take Emre Can?
Over Ginny, I'd probably take him back.
Would you take Gini back?
Probably not. Only because, in my opinion, he could have stayed and he chose to stay. So once you've made that decision, for me, it's like, well, sorry, the door is closed for you. That's why it's also closed for Coutinho for me.
Yeah,
what about you? It is a good question, though.
Well, there's actually a few good options that you could put there as well. Suarez, Coutinho, Sterling. Would you take Sterling? And it's not going to happen. Again, this is pure hypothetical. Mane's just gone. We've got Luis Diaz. We've got Mo Salah. We've got numerous players. We've got in the front three. But if we brought back Sterling, does it improve us? I think it would improve the current squad. It's not the young, hungry players that we want to be bringing in. He's not world class, in my opinion. I think he's probably just a level below. But does he improve us? Most likely.
He probably does, but again, it's not realistic, is it?
No, that's why I said it's a hypothetical. Hypothetical.
He probably does. Hypothetical.
We're not going to bring back any of these players.
No, he probably does. Hypothetically improve the squad. I mean, I'm trying to think of other players that have left us and actually gone on to do all right.
Take Suarez.
No, I wouldn't. I think he's actually close to signing a deal to go to Flamingo.
Is he?
I think so. For 2 years, I think so. He's going to go to a club back there. In terms of other players, I can't really pin. I mean, Klein's still playing in the Prem. I wouldn't have him back.
I wouldn't have Klein back myself.
Definitely not. They're getting on a bit. The players that we've sold, they're all getting on a bit as well.
Yeah, I never told you this. Nico Williams. Sorry, no way, not Say Nico Williams got sold and Calvin Ramsey got a loan offer from Dortmund for 2 years. Right? A loan offer from Dortmund. And Crystal Palace was like, we don't want Klein anymore. Liverpool, you have to take him. Would you do that?
No. I'm saying no.
Would you keep Calvin Ramsey for yourself?
Conor Bradley, you're out there on the right, mate.
Conor Bradley, he's just went on to Bolton. Shout out to Conor Bradley.
He did.
Is there any? Yeah, this is a question. Because you know what? Do you know what?
I don't think there's anyone else though. No.
No.
Hypothetical question though.
It was just a fun one. This is a more realistic one. Because one argument I've been making to myself is: do these big signings that we've made on paper improve our squad, or do they make it better than last season's squad? I don't know. But what we are ignoring is that we're going to see more football from Curtis. We're going to see more football from Harvey. We're going to probably bring in a player or two from the academy who's going to be able to get given a chance. We've got young players all over the field. And on top of that, we're going to have a little bit of a different style of play type of thing. You know, we don't know who we're going to see play. So with all that in mind, have we got the young players there that are capable of stepping up to the plate the way a Gini Wijnaldum did over the years, the way Mane did, the way all these people who have came and gone, Divock Origi, Minamino, are they going to be able to fill in those voids? Are we going to find Fabio Carvalho being that rotational false nine - winger, scoring goals, getting important goals? And I'm not saying right now, maybe even over time, but are these young players capable of filling in these holes that have been left?
Yeah, I think so. I think combined, if you add up the goals of Minamino, Origi, and Mane last season, which was probably around 40 goals, I would say, in all comps,
like 35 goals, something like
combined.
that.
I think between Diaz, between Nunes, between Carvalho, between Harvey, between Curtis coming back, playing a lot more football, I think you get that. I hope you do, because if not, then we're in trouble. But I think you do get that. And looking at the pre-season schedule, it looks to me as if a lot of these players are going to get a lot of chances. So if we look at things now, right, it's July the 1st. It's a big day in terms of contracts being renewed, contracts ending. It looks like today the club can finally announce Fabio Carvalho as a player. So we'll be locked into the channels there to see if they do that. But July the 1st today. So July the 4th, James. So this is Monday. It's the first day back at training. This is where you're going to expect to see the bleep tests. This is where you're going to expect to see James Milner with no top on, with the little stats bra thing that he wears,
You know that.
smashing the numbers out of the park. That's probably the worst day, actually, if you're a footballer, is the first day back at pre-season, because I can imagine it would just be horrible, right? So that's July the 4th.
Yeah.
July the 9th, we fly to the Far East. We have then an open training session in Bangkok in Thailand. And July the 12th, Manchester United in Thailand at 2 o'clock. Now, this is the first time, I believe, that we're going to be wearing the third kit. It hasn't been announced. It hasn't been released yet. But from what I'm hearing from my sources, we will be wearing the third kit against United on July the 12th. Then we go to Singapore, July the 14th, open training there. July the 15th, James, Crystal Palace in Singapore, 1:35. What do you make of playing Premier League teams in the pre-season? How does that work for you? Is it the standard? Is it a good enough level for you there?
It's what you're going to be playing during the season.
Yeah.
So,
and it's a big money spinner, isn't it? In terms of the Far East, getting a lot of names on the pitch, getting a lot of big fans coming to watch the game. Palace.
Well, what if we play Tranmere? What are we going to learn if Curtis Jones, Fabio Carvalho, and all that start against Tranmere?
We normally do play Tranmere. We normally do play them.
We probably will play Tranmere if it gets added or whatever, because sometimes there's fixtures that get added. But
yeah,
what I'll say is that I'd love one against Dortmund. I like playing Dortmund. But either way, the Crystal Palace game, United game, I'd rather see Curtis Jones and Fabio Carvalho against them, because again, that's not going to be their strongest team either. They'll be making changes, but you're facing similar level to what you're going to be coming up against. It gives you a good indication. If you have good performances in those, it might only mean 2 or 3 extra games that the manager gives you at the start of the season, but it's 2 or 3 extra games that you're going to need to prove yourself. So I don't think it's bad at all.
We played Dortmund and Rodgers, and we beat Kop 4-0. Yeah,
4-0. Yeah. No, that was it. That was funny, to be fair, because I remember even the Barcelona 4-0. I was like, "This is the season." I used to invest so much into those type of wins because we were so wank when it came to like actually facing these teams. So when we ended up beating them, even if it was in a pre-season, I was like, come on, we'll take this.
4-0. Listen, if you beat Barca 4-0 in pre-season, I know it's pre-season. It's still beating Barca 4-0 at Wembley. So, right, July the 16th, we leave the Far East.
Scored in that game.
You did. Great header. Great header. Pretty sure Danny
thought he was going to be the next Fabinho.
Yeah, wasn't. July the 16th, we leave the Far East and we head to Germany, right? And again, we've played a lot of German teams. We've gone to Austria a lot of times as well in the pre-seasons of the last few years. Red Bull Leipzig, Germany on July the 21st. July the 27th, Red Bull Salzburg. So again, we like playing these Red Bull teams. Team. Exactly. Keita, Minamino, we've bought players from both of these Red Bull teams. July the 30th, Jay, Man City, Community Shield, 5 o'clock. And then July the 31st, this is actually a bit of a weird one. So we're playing Man City on the 30th of July. And on July the 31st, we're playing Strasbourg at Anfield. So I'm assuming it will just be 2 totally different teams that won't even cross over. And then August the 6th, the Premier League starts. Fulham away at 12:30 in the Prem. So that's the pre-season schedule. It's going to be packed. It's going to be full of new faces, good pictures of Nunes coming out to play in the first time. We're going to see Fabio. What are you excited for the most? Though?
I'm going to tell you what I'm excited for. I'm excited. These are my expectations for the team this season, because I'm not being funny. We are not. You can see the transition of a young squad. I'm not going to start saying that. I'm not going to be like an Arsenal fan and say, "Oh, we're all right not to compete because we've got young players." No, I want to be competing, and I think we will still compete. But now it is a lot more of a younger squad. We're going to be seeing the likes of Fabio Carvalho, Nunes, Jota, Diaz. These are all under 25, just over 25-year-olds. Yeah. I'm not being funny or not, and we're probably going to see Kanate a little bit more in the first 11 next season as well. Numerous different factors of variables that are going to come into how we perform. I'm happy if we compete. I'm happy if we have another season like last year where we might just nick 1 trophy, but we do well in all the other competitions. So it's exciting. What makes it for me? This is why I disagreed with Harry the Mank. This is why I disagreed with him, because for me, a good season is compete until the end, fight until the end, because you've still had a good majority of the season. You might have not ended up achieving what you wanted to achieve, but you still had a good season for 95% of the season. If you've had a good season for 95% of the season, how can it be a bad season? Do you hear what I'm
saying? How do you
Alex?
improve on that? Yeah.
The only way you do improve is by getting that extra 5%. That's it. Yeah. So I'm excited for what we've got. I'm going to be, honestly, I think this season is going to be, weirdly enough, one of the most connected we feel with the teams because of the amount of young players we're going to see coming in and out. I really believe that. Because you know what it's like when a young player comes on and does all right, all the Liverpool fans are there roaring their heads off, like, go ahead, lad. Like, we back our young players, which I like to see. And I think for that reason, and if we see a few good performances, Calvin Ramsey's goes off both his left foot and right foot, so he scores a worldie. Harvey Elliott, if he takes on a few players. Fabio Carvalho, if he gets off and running. Curtis Jones, if he starts doing a few more of those careless that he's done against Everton. Yeah. You just never know, do you? You never know.
No, Allier reckons that you in particular, Jay, are going to be screaming Nunez's name this season. James will soon say Nunez is the best striker in the world, like the Manny quote. Watch this space when he scores a hat-trick against United to prove United wrong because they wanted it.
I am going to stand here and say I don't think that will happen. Would I put it past it happening? If not a chance. Like, I think that can definitely be a possibility. Possibility one day. I was going to ask one more question. It was kind of a knock-on to the question I asked before about all these young players. On the opposite ends of the spectrum, the R boys, the ones with the grey hairs, the ones who are kicking on a bit, but they can still run more than the rest of the squad, i.e. Hendo and Milner and these types of folks. I was thinking, is this the season where we start seeing one? Like, yeah, this is what I was going to ask. If there's one player out of the starting 11 right now, so when you consider the starting 11 dead quick, Alisson, Van Dijk, Matip, Trent, Robbo, Hendo, Thiago, Fabinho, Salah, Diaz, Jota, or Firmino. Who's the first one? Firmino's kind of already gone out the first 11. Who's the next one? Here's a shout. Here's a recommendation. Jordan Henderson.
Don't say that. I knew you were going to say that. I knew it. The thing is, if you take him away, and again, I don't know if you watched the documentary, the Henderson documentary,
I did. Which
people have referenced so far. I thought it was really good. I think that documentary shows you what you would be taking out of the team if you were to drop Hendo. You've watched every one of them players say how good he is as a leader and a player. You watched Thiago say he's genuinely one of the best midfield players I've ever played with. And that's Thiago saying that, by the way. And Hendo's easily saying that about Thiago. So for Thiago to say that about Hendo, to me, shows you how important Hendo is.
And that's the thing. Like, I even saw people trying to hate on that comment from Thiago.
Pick him, yeah, I did. And that was ludicrous that people hated on that.
Though, what's funny is people saying, "Oh, he's got to say that because he's the captain." He doesn't have to say he's one of the best players I've ever played with, and he might not be talking about the passing range that Iniesta has or the smarts of Xavi. He might be talking about pure leadership in itself. Maybe, but that Barcelona team has multiple great leaders. But the leader that Jordan Henderson is to our team, now we all know.
I don't think you can take him out.
You need multiple leaders to lead a squad, but Henderson is still massive in terms of what he brings. He's always vocal, he's always shouting, he always wants the best of the side. You need players like that. But at the same time, I think last season he had probably more below par performances than what we've ever seen him have in a season, at least since he became really, really good. And if, for instance, Naby Keita kicked on, if Curtis kicked on, I don't want to take Thiago out the team.
No, you
Not
can't.
Yet.
No,
and I don't want to take Fabinho out the team.
It's a horrible question that forces you into saying Hendo, basically.
Wait. There's only one remaining. And I don't mean to point the gun at anyone, but the gun is pointing at Jordan Henderson.
I hear what you're saying, but it's like choosing which one of your kids you want to throw in the bin. None of them really.
But listen, lads, you look at the one who's causing you the most inconvenience, and you look at the other two who's going to bring you the most value. And Thiago and Fabinho are those kids that are going to bring more value, where they're not going to be leaving the room messy every fucking 2 minutes and leaving dishes in the fucking sink for me to deal with. All right. Whereas the other two are little fucking princesses, lads. That's little Jay. RJ, he's just a little shit. The other two princesses, Scarlett and Charlotte, them two are absolute fucking golden. They just crack on. That's Fabinho and Thiago. I'm only messing. I don't know where I'm going with that analogy. I love Henderson. Okay.
Yeah, let's just say that now. Like, we all love
Jay.
Hendo.
I love little Jay, but he's a little shit.
I hear you. I hear you, kind of. I hear you, kind of.
James, why do you do this to me?
Yeah.
Trying to make a representable show. Why are you doing this to me, James? I'm sorry.
Anyway, we'll leave it on this. JY reckons Liverpool to win the double next season. The UCL and Prem. He's quick to say what the double is.
Wait there, Liverpool to win the double. Okay, I will take that. I will take that.
Any other quick hot topics to run through before we finish off?
No, I feel like I've got you enough clips there. In one episode, I'm going to be able to give people the context that I don't want Jurgen Klopp because he doesn't like competing for trophies. Get on it. I don't like Jurgen Klopp because he doesn't like competing for trophies. I hate Jordan Henderson because he's a little shit. What else?
This is all a joke, by the way, just in case this bit gets clipped up.
No, don't be posting this. This would be stupid to post because I'm obviously not talking about this. Clip Alex about Richarlison. That's what you need to clip
up, probably.
That's what we need to clip out.
But listen, as we mentioned, there could be some announcements today from the club in regards to Carvalho. We're obviously going to pre-season. That's starting on Monday. There's a lot of great stuff coming up. Me and James are going to be filming in the studio. We've got new intros and outros for the channel. We're going to be doing a calzone eating challenge as well. It's not boring. Yeah, he's yawning, but it's not. I promise it won't be boring. Tired. No. I'm just telling them it won't be boring.
Nice one,
so stay tuned. Right, Jay is also appearing a lot now on 5, Rio Ferdinand's YouTube channel. So check him out on there. Flying the flag for Liverpool. Beautiful to see. And of course, we'll always be here on the Kop TV for you as well. And
you know that.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen. We'll see you on the next
comment, like,
comment.
subscribe.
James is going to share the stream as well right now, so we can get the views up. But yeah, if you haven't already, subscribe. As James is getting.
I fully forgot to do that. I know. Have you heard that?
Cheers.
Whoa! Just before you go,
don't forget, give us a like, drop us a comment, and subscribe to the Kop TV.
The voice of football.